What's up, guys? It's Nikki, and today I will be doing Dirty Why Don't We Smut reading for you guys because I haven't done reading of off of Wattpad or Tumblr or anything for a while for you guys. So I thought that today I could just do that, and yeah. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm going to start off, I think, by reading the Zach one. There's two parts to the Zach one that I'm going to read. It's called Sex Ed. So, okay. So, this one's Sex Ed, Part 1. I guess my last name is Smith in this. Miss Smith, you have been falling behind and I'm worried about you. Therefore, I'm going to have a senior tutor you. This particular person has the highest scores in class. Are you familiar with Zach Heron? My health teacher asked, which caused my brain to shut down. Of course, I've heard his name. I hate that name. Zach Heron is a jerk. He is the captain of the football team, and he is an overall idiot. How does he have high scores? I nodded and said, yes, I'm familiar with him. Why is he still in this class? He isn't, but when he was, he had the highest scores in this class. And believe it or not, but he volunteers to help students in this class. Usually he works with boys, but you're behind everyone, so it's my only choice. To make sure you pass this class, she responded. I just said all right and left the room. Walking my locker that was on the second floor, I opened my locker and a note fell out. It read, Nikki, I know you probably hate this, but you need it. I'll talk to you at lunch about how this is going to work. I hope you can put your anger aside and cooperate with me to help your grade in this class. Signed, Zach. I kind of smiled a bit before reading this note. Is he really willing to help me? The bell rang, snapping me out of my thoughts, and I placed the note into my pocket, then threw my bag into the locker and shut it. I began walking down to the lunchroom, seeing Zach with all of his friends sitting at one of the popular tables. Hey, Nikki! Zach yelled once he saw me, earning confused looks from his friends. Come here! Oh boy, this can't be good. I ran my fingers through my hair before I walked over to the table, sitting in the empty seat next to Zach. I was quiet until he spoke up. So I'm going to be with you after school every day until you get your grade up to an A. And right now, you're at an F. So we have a lot of work we need to do. So I need you to meet me at my car. Then we'll go to my house and I will help you with the section that your scores are the lowest on. I cringed when I didn't realize it was sex ed. Oh, sorry. My bad. Gosh, I feel like I can't read right now. I cringed when I realized it was sex ed. He laughed and said, don't worry, if you get uncomfortable, we'll move on to another topic. I just nodded my head and started to stand up, not feeling welcome to the table. Where are you going? He asked, grabbing my wrist, pulling me back to the seat. I don't think I should be at this table, I mumbled. Corbin, please tell your sister that she can be at the table, he said to my older brother, who was across the table from us. Oh, so I'm Corbin's sister. I wanted you to sit with us at the beginning of the year, but you always refused. You're staying. Corbin glared at me. I just groaned and stood there, continuously stealing food from Zach. Fast forward to while I was in the passenger side of Zach's Camaro, damn, he started talking to me. You wrote your worst subject in sex ed, so, oh, there's a typo. It's supposed to be, your worst subject is sex ed, so I'm going to teach you the best way to learn, he said, placing a hand on my thigh, making me flinch under the unfamiliar feeling. What's the best way to learn? I asked, starting to get confused. Well, I will have to touch you to teach you. Are you okay with that? He asked, moving his hand higher on my thigh. I just noticed and felt my legs give out for a solid second. Sorry, nodded. Oopsies. And then we move on forward. When we got to the house, he brought me up to his room. I'm gonna have to take your leggings off, okay? He asked sweetly. I hesitated and slowly pulled the waistband. They fell to the floor and I stepped out of them, and he bit his lip lightly. Lay back and spread your legs, okay? I nodded and did what he wanted. This is getting good. Zach, what's happening? I asked, concerned, feeling a tingly feeling on my lower body. Have you never touched yourself? He asked. Okay, pause for a second. Pause for a second. So, I feel like this is very, very related to after because that's the same question that kind of goes into what Hardin asks Tessa. Only difference is Hardin asks Tessa if she's ever been touched before. She says no because her and Noah never did anything. And Zach just asked me in the fanfiction if I've ever been touched before. Technically. It still counts. I nodded and he said, I want you to know that I want to touch you. Can I try something? Okay, now it's Zach's point of view. She nodded after I felt her wetness through her underwear. She whimpered when she felt a new feeling that she never had before. She didn't know what to do, so she just let me do what I want. I pulled her underwear off and she gasped. She was the purest person I've ever met, and I loved it. I held her legs open in case she tried to close them. I bent down and licked a strip of her on her slit. Oh dear. Oh no, sorry, stripe. God damn. She responded with with a small sound. Can I keep going? I asked, looking back up at her. She nodded, and I placed my mouth on her clit. Oh dear. She smiled and said, Zach, that feels good. I know, baby, I smiled back. I pushed a finger into her and she immediately shed a tear. Baby, do you know what sex is, essentially? I asked. She nodded and said, Do you want to do that? I pushed a second finger into her and she moaned. Can we? I asked, thrusting my finger slowly. Wouldn't that be illegal? She asked, lifting her head up to look at me. Not if you say it's okay, I replied, going the slightest bit faster. Will you be gentle? She asked, wiping a few tears that had rolled down her face. Of course, baby, I stated. She said, okay, I want you to be my first. She smiled. I know, doesn't really make sense. Okay, on to part 2, but it's my point of view this time. After saying that I wanted to have sex with him, he pulled his fingers out of me. He lifted me further onto the bed, pulling my shirt off as well. I blushed as he admired my body, looking like he was in love. Not just with my body, but myself in its entirety. I knew how to make out with someone, but the only time I've done it was during a game of Truth or Dare when I was 14. I looked up at Zach while he pulled his own clothes off. He was beautiful. I pulled him down towards me and attached my lips to his, and he kissed back. Breaking the kiss, he reached into his bedside table and grabbed a condom. Then he slid it on himself. He hovered over me and grabbed my hands and pinned them to the side of my head. Interlocking our fingers, he kissed me again, and I felt the tip of his penis being pushed into me. "Are you okay?" he asked, stopping his hips. I let tears roll down my face as he asked. "It hurts, Zach," I whimpered. "I know, baby. It's gonna feel so good soon, okay?" he said, kissing all over my face. "Okay," I answered. He kept pushing forward and didn't stop until he was in completely. I was letting out the strangest sound, and I stopped crying after a minute and nodded, telling Zach that he could start moving. I felt him pull out almost all the way and slammed back in. "Oh, God!" I literally screamed out, gripping tighter on Zach's hand. No, Jesus. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. He kept thrusting in and out, going faster with every thrust. My back flew up as a reflex, and it caused Zach to hit a spot that sent a giant pulse through my body, making me feel like I was in heaven. It felt so good that I started crying again. "Do you want me to do that again?" he asked, keeping his hips at the same angle. I nodded, only for him to keep hitting the same place as hard and as fast as he could. I let out moans and groans and whimpers, feeling the best I'd ever felt. He kissed me again and again. "Zach, I think I'm going to pee," I cried, feeling the certain feeling in my stomach. "That's not what it is, baby. Relax and let go." He encouraged, causing me to clench around him. He groaned at the feeling, and I felt his thrust getting slower and weaker. I let go before he did, which was the thing that pushed him over the edge. Once he pulled out, he took the condom and threw it away, then laid down next to me. He pulled me toward his body and kissed my forehead. "You did so good, baby," he praised me. I just smiled back and leaned up to place a kiss on his lips. "Have I told you that you were the best girl I've ever met?" he asked in a rhetorical way. I just giggled and shook my head. He reached over and played with my hair while I messed with the bracelets on his wrists. "Nikki, I want you to know that I love you, and I hope you can feel the same way about me." I asked Corbin if he was okay with me doing this, and he said that it was a good idea. He knows you wouldn't trust anyone else, so he told me that I could be with you. He looked into my eyes with a gleam in his eyes, hoping I would reciprocate his actions. My heart pounded out of my chest, doing backflips, and was so loud that I could hear it beating. "I love you too," I smiled, wiping tears from his eyes that he had started shedding. "Will you be my girlfriend?" he asked, cupping my face with both of his hands. "Yes," was all I said before he kissed me lightly, showing me how much he loved me. He pulled away and just smiled. I loved Zach Heron, and he loved me. What are the odds? Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you back very, very soon for a new video. Peace, y'all.